Welcome. Today we're going to learn more about the new integrated email marketing tools for Gmail. Let's get started. First of all, there is a new option inside your Gmail Compose window that is called Layouts. Layouts will let you select a predefined set of email templates, which features images, text elements, and buttons. This is a great way to customize your templates to fix your branding guidelines. The other option that you have is a multi-send. This feature allows you to send mass emails without the need to BCC, also known as blind copy all your recipients. This is another great way to communicate. Let's talk about these a little bit more. We'll start with layouts. In the description of this YouTube video, you'll be able to find this slide deck. And in that slide deck, on this particular slide, you will be able to follow the hands-on instructions if you want to try this on your own. So feel free to follow step 1 through 5 as I will in here shortly and be able to try to do this new feature on your own. Step 1, set up your default styling. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link to show you exactly where those hands-on instructions are if you choose to follow along. Set up default styling. So I'm going to follow these written instructions in great detail. Feel free to follow along if you're trying this on your own. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Gmail and start composing a new email with a layout. First of all, you'll go ahead and go to the Compose window. Click on Compose, and at the bottom, you will find a new icon that says Choose Layout. Let's go ahead and do that. Choose Layout. Let's go ahead and browse those layouts. And you can see there's several different options here. But again, we're following the written instructions that's provided for you in this video. I'm going to go ahead and select Default Styling. You have several different menu options over here: logo, colors and fonts, footer details, and links. So let's go back to the written instructions so you can follow along. I'm going to go ahead and upload this logo. This would be my particular example of a logo. This is a Google drawing. I'm going to go ahead and click on this Google drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and download this as a PNG or a JPEG. Either way will work for you. You can do the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my written instructions. And then you'll notice there's some other notes here. I'm not going to bring the instructions back over, but I'm just following along in great detail of these written instructions if you want to try it on your own. So now, next thing is I'm going to go ahead and upload that logo. So I'm under the logo, colors, and fonts. I'm going to click on Upload Logo. I'm going to go find that logo that I just recently downloaded, or I can locate it in my Google Drive. Either way will work for you. I'm going to go ahead and upload that logo. Again, this could be your agency logo. This is just an example for you to try it on your own. You can adjust your palette by putting a hex code. I'm going to go ahead and put the hex code in here that is familiar with Google Colors. I'm going to go ahead and put that hex code in there, and it's changed to the famous blue, and you can see that it's doing that as well. You can also select a different font, whatever font that you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and select that. You notice there are some footer details here as well. You can always add a footer that fits your business needs. And you also can add links. I'm going to go ahead and add just one link so you can see how this works. I'm going to go ahead and add the YouTube link just to give you an example of how you can add contact and social media links. At the bottom or the drop down, you can select a particular social media link. In my case, it's YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and paste that YouTube link in there. And I'm going to go ahead now and hit Save Changes. But please note, you can add additional links here as well. I'm going to go ahead and save changes. And now we have completed step 1, which is set up your default styling. Back to the written instructions. Step 2, select layout. Now in this example, I'm going to go ahead and select a new service line, inverted. Again, this could be any of your choices. But again, I'm just going to go ahead and walk through these instructions. So you'll see there's different options here that you can select from. You'll also notice, since I changed my palette to the blue, that my templates now have the blue background on some of these examples. So keep that in mind. The one that I'm going to use today, just for an example, is a new service line inverted. But again, feel free to try any of the other ones out. So I'm going to go ahead and click Insert. Now we're ready to start composing our email. So we're in step 3, compose email. First thing we probably should do is put a subject line. And you can also feel free to just maybe send it to yourself if you want, if that works for you. or maybe a coworker, just to kind of give them an example of what it will look like. So you're composing your email, the two. Feel free to use the blind CC if you want to. This is just referring to the layouts at this current time. This has nothing to do with the multi-sent. So we're still in the concept of layouts. All right, so we're in section 3, composing emails. So we've already added the subject line. Let's go ahead and add a header. So you'll notice then this is a section within the layouts. In this particular one, we're going to go ahead and add a header called Google Help Iowa training. That's our topic for today. Now you can notice that this is a particular image. It doesn't really relate to Google Help. It gives you an example of that. Now, one thing I want to point out is maybe you don't realize the size of this image. It's really important to know the image size on some of these templates. So one of the things that I do is I will file save as an image and then kind of determine the size of it. It does kind of give you the size right there in the description right here. So if that's something that you want to review, you can. Or you can always download it and then go to the properties and look at that as well. So let me go ahead and just show you where that is. Now that I've downloaded that image, I want to determine the size, because once you have the best size, it will be the size that you want to create your own custom image. So you will right click, choose properties, and then notice then you have the details of it. There's a details tab, and it will give you the dimensions, which in this case is the width is 1000 by 80 and 600 height. So that would be the size that you would recommend, so you don't really get it distorted in any shape. Again, not required, just something, a little tip and trick. But in this particular example, I'm not going to add an image for that particular area. It does not fit my business needs. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove section by clicking on the image, and you see there's an option to remove section. Next thing is you have another text box right here. In our example, I'm just going to go ahead and just put in some text. I'm going to also just use the Shift Control V or paste plain text. That just helps out sometimes. You can always right click and choose paste as plain text. It just helps with the formatting, and less formatting is needed when you do that. Then you have a sign up button. In this case, it's not a sign up. It's supposed to be like learn more about Google Help training. So I'm going to go ahead and hit change here, and I'm going to add the address on here. And I'm on step 5 here inside the written instructions. I'm just going to add a URL here for you. You'll notice that it has just the Google Help web, training page there. So you can add an email address or a web address, whatever works for you. But I also want to change the sign up, because that doesn't really pertain to this. Maybe in my case, I want to just say learn more. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in that button that you have, learn more, and you'll see that the text is no longer sign up, but it is now learn more. The other thing I remind you is you do have formatting options here. So I'm going to click in this box and highlight learn more. I can obviously make the text white if I want by going down to the format option at the bottom of your compose window. I can also make it large or huge just to kind of give it a better option. So there we go. So we're getting this to look like a newsletter of some sort. Down here, you can add another keyword here. I'm going to go ahead and just type in resources, or resource in this example. And then again, you can always find the image size by save image as, look at the properties and determine the size. There's another way to do that as well, but it just kind of helps you if you want to replace that image. So in this case, we are going to actually change an image here. So what I'm going to do is back to the written instructions. You'll see I have an image right here. It's the community page image. We're right following along these instructions if you want to try it on your own and follow along with the video. But in this one, I'm going to go ahead and file download PNG. This is the image that I currently want to have in my new layout. So in this case, I've already downloaded it. I'm going to go ahead and select change image, and I'm going to go ahead and choose upload, and I'm going to drag, or I'm going to choose photos from my downloads, and I'm going to go ahead and select that 500 by 300 Google community page logo. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this just a little bit so it's centered, and we're going from there and selecting those handles. Now that I have the logo, I can always change the text. I could say Google Help Community Page. And I can add additional information here if I want, and so much more. Now that I have the image and the text in there, I just want to show you how you can quickly make these a hyperlink as well. You can click on the image, the Google Community Page image, and you'll notice you have the option to change the image, add link, edit alt text, or remove the section altogether. We'll talk about removing section here in a little bit. But right now I want to show you how you can add a link. So I'm going to go ahead and click add link. And then I have a link already copied in my clipboard. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that link, which takes them to the community page. And then it will then be the web address posted there. And then it will be an interactive button. You can also do that same thing with text. You can highlight the text, go down here and click on the insert link button, which is the chain link, and paste that link as well inside the web address text box and hit OK. I can make this go to a link to say sign up if I choose. Again, you can see that it's kind of a rinse and repeat process. I'm going to go ahead and just remove the button. Again, I just want to give you the basic understanding of layouts. And I don't really want any of these sections either. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove them. One thing that I want to make note that is this is a true template. You cannot really copy like this section and then add it in there without using some HTML code or CSS styling. So for most end users, it's just kind of like what template works best for me and editing the stuff that's in there. So be aware of that. I'm just going to go ahead and remove these sections. Notice down here, again, I could have added more links if I wanted to, but these are the social links that we were just adding in our default styling. So again, this isn't the best looking newsletter or template or layout, but it gives you a basic understanding of how you can implement this. You may have recognized these layouts with our newsletters and such. So it's kind of a great way to customize and brand your communications in the masses. So with that, one other thing I want to point out here as I go back to the written instructions here, one moment. This is a tip that I'm going to provide you. Now, one thing I do find this it's a little time consuming. If you want to do this a lot. So what I would do is maybe say this is a template. You make the master layout the exact same way that you love it. You just think it's outstanding. It's the way that you want for the next newsletter that you send out next month or next quarter, or fill in the blank, right? You can use canned responses, formerly known, but it is now called templates within Google Gmail or in Gmail. So let's go ahead and pull that up. And I'm going to go to my three dots, and you'll notice I do not have saved templates as an option. So how do I get templates to be saved as an option, as a canned response? Let me show you how you can do this. Now, this is just an added bonus. This really has nothing to do with the layouts, but I think it's a very good option, especially when you find that you are going to use this every quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the gear in my Gmail. I'm going to go ahead and click on See All Settings. And under Advanced, you will have the under Advanced, you will have the option to enable. I'm going to go ahead and click Enable and Save Changes under Templates. Now what's going to happen is that you will have a new feature under the three dots. So I'm going to go back to my draft here that I've been working on, the Learning Layouts draft. Lots of pop-ups here today. You'll notice if I click on the three dots now in the Compose window, I have the option for templates. And I'm going to go ahead and save this template as a new template. I'm going to say Learning Layouts Training. That makes sense to me. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. I'll explain why this is important down the road. So overall, this is my template. Maybe not the best looking one, again, like I mentioned, but it gives you the basic understanding of the process. I'm going to go ahead and hit Send so you can see how that works. Now, the reason why I suggest the templates is now let's pretend we fast forward in time and now it's the next month and I want to use that same template. I'm going to go ahead and hit Compose. I would have to build it all over again if I choose the layout. Obviously, I'd probably have some idea that it was the service line inverted, and then I would have to upload all those images again. However, that's time consuming. I'm going to go ahead and click on the three dots and choose Templates, and now I can insert that template called Learning Layouts. Now, keep in mind, this is where you can't add another section, however, but you can at least just edit the information if need be. I can still edit the text if I want. I could say Google Help, whatever the case may be, You do have some limited, but an option to update the content. So there is some hindrance to that, but it'll at least give you a good idea if you want to rinse and repeat. So again, not required, just a little tip and trick on my end. So that is layouts. Like again, I strongly encourage you to check out the additional resources that are provided in the slide deck. But let's go ahead and change gears here and just remind you of the resources that we have available for you. All these resources, and feel free to follow those instructions if you choose to. So now we're going to change hats and we're going to talk about multi-send. Again, multi-send is a great option for you to send in the masses, but keep in mind it has got some sending limits. Let's first look at those sending limits. The sending limits is 1,500 multi-send limit. Your daily sending limit is 2,000. So again, this is supposed to be used in caution. So don't use this for large public communication, but it is an option for a smaller amount of sending. The other thing is be cautious of the CCC and the BCC. When using multi-send, I strongly encourage you not to use CCC or BCC when doing this because it will consider an additional email and go against your sending limits. I strongly encourage you to read these resources regarding the sending limits and the CC and the BCC limits before you proceed. Again, there's additional resources here for you as well. The other concern that I just want to make sure that you're aware of is the unsubscribed recipients. When using multi-send, you have the option for your recipient to unsubscribe to that particular communication. When it's sent within the Google Workspace environment in the state of Iowa, when they have a Google account, they will not have the capability of unsubscribing, which makes sense because you're unsubscribing to that particular person that is sending the email. So again, some really important things to be really aware of when using multi-send. So let's go ahead and just make sure that you know how to use multi-send. And again, I cannot strongly encourage enough to definitely check out all these resources before proceeding so you have a great understanding of all the limitations and things that would apply to you regarding multi-send. So again, explore through this slide deck to get a better understanding. So let's go ahead and go back to my Gmail and show you how multi-send works. Let's go ahead and start by composing an email in the multi-send mode. First, go ahead and click Compose. Then at the bottom of your email, you have a new option called Toggle Multi-Send Mode. So now you're changing modes and you're going to go to the multi-send mode. So go ahead and click on the multi-send mode button at the bottom of your email and click Turn On. You'll notice now your email is turned to a purple and it tells you you're using multi-send. You can see here using multi-send mode, each recipient will get a separate copy of the email with unique unsubscribe link. So this goes back to why it would not be feasible or encouraged to maybe include a CC or BCC because they're going to get an email for each recipient. That would bombard your coworker's inbox. So let's go ahead and first type in a recipient. In this case, I'll go ahead and type in some trainer accounts here. And I am deciding who my recipients are. And so in this case, I'm going to add 2 recipients. So I'm going to go ahead and then type in a good subject line. Again, use best sending practices. In this case, I'm going to have a good subject line so it makes sense. Now, when you're in multi-send, you will have the option to use the menu. And what you do have with that is some mail merge tags options. You don't have a whole lot to choose from, but this has been rolled out since the original update of multi-send. So if you type in the @ you have the option to use the mail merge tags of first name, last name, full name, or email. For this particular one, I'm just going to go ahead and choose last name. I could have added a salutation before it if I choose to. I can put a comma after that. So it does give you some personalization and customization in this multi-send mode. Then you can go ahead and type in the message in the Compose button and say, hi, how are you? Whatever the particular message is that you are sending. So now that I have kind of the email composed, I have had to use some mail merge things. You'll notice at the bottom there is an unsubscribe link, and that unsubscribe link goes to each recipient. It's a way for them to unsubscribe to this multi-send option. Now that I've kind of got everything ready to go, I'm ready to hit continue and move on with my multi-send mode. I'm going to go ahead and hit the purple icon and hit continue. And then again, good practices, make sure you use best email practices. So feel free to review the Learn More button if you want to find out what those are. I'm going to go ahead and bypass that at this time and go ahead and click Got It. You can always have the option to preview the send email if you choose to. So that gives you making sure everything looks good. So feel free to try that out if you want. But right now I'm going to bypass that as well and click Send All. So what does it look like for the end user that received that particular email? Let's go ahead and log into one of my other trainer accounts so we can see how the recipient gets that email. Now I am currently logged into Trainer 1, which is one of the recipients of that email that I just sent in the multi-send mode. I'm going to go ahead and open up the email with the subject line Google Help Training. And as you can see, it does have the last name with that information, hi, how are you, and etc. You'll notice then it does not include the other trainer account that I have in there. Now, this is where I go back to having someone in the CC. They would actually get a copy to both Trainer 1's email, Trainer 2's email, and that would go against your multi-send limitation. So again, I would not encourage that process. However, this did work great. It gives it a customized email to the particular recipient. Also, if this was sent outside the state of Iowa, Google Workspace users, they would have the option to unsubscribe. The unsubscribe button does still appear for our Google Workspace state of Iowa account users. However, if you click on unsubscribe, as shown in the slide deck, it is not an option for our internal use because we do not allow unsubscribe for senders within our organization. So again, I end this video to make sure that you review all the resources that are provided in the description below. And again, I hope you can take the opportunity to learn more about the new marketing tools within Gmail. Thank you.